Hi friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Carmen and I'm so glad you're here. It's currently 11 degrees in Middle Tennessee and I am freezing my bum off. My place of work is shut down because there's so much ice and snow on the ground that has yet to be plowed. So with all this extra time, I'm soaking in all of the cuddles with my daughter and also taking advantage of filming some videos for you guys. With that said, let's get into it. Today I wanted to discuss my postpartum journey. I wanted to, put two different aspects into this video, the physical recovery and the emotional recovery. Whether you had a stress-free, fast, and peaceful delivery or a strenuous and long delivery, I hope that you get something from this video that you can relate to or maybe prepare for. With that said, let's get into it. Physical recovery. This is something that's talked about a lot on YouTube. You hear horror stories of not healing properly or the pain of number 2. But my physical recovery was drastically impacted by my birth experience. I was in labor altogether 3 days. I labored at home in pre-labor for about 2 days and was in active labor for 9 hours. And after I delivered my daughter, her breath was very low. She was very blue and not crying very much. So they quickly whisked her away to the hospital where we would stay a week in the NICU. And I feel like that really impacted my healing with all of the walking, all the stress, the lack of skin-to-skin connection with my daughter. It was a very difficult time. Let's start there. Right after I delivered her, my midwives discovered I had 2 lacerations. I had one on the inside and one on the outside. And I was prepared to have a pretty long recovery from those 2 tears. Right away I was on my feet. I remember getting up out of the bed I delivered my daughter from and looking in the mirror, happily surprised that my belly had pretty much gone down to the size it was pre-pregnancy. But I just had a world of pain knocking on my door. I had no idea. Really, getting in and out of a car, walking as much as I did right after you deliver a child, a woman's body's not meant to do that. It's meant to be completely at rest, skin-to-skin contact with your baby, and taking that time to recover. But to give you an idea, the postpartum wing and NICU wing round trip was a 3-mile trek, and I was doing that sometimes a couple times a day. The first couple days I was in a wheelchair, and then after that they didn't have any more wheelchairs. The hospital didn't, so I was walking, and I really think that took a toll on my physical recovery. No matter how much dermaplast and witch hazel pads and rotating them as much as I could, I just was in a constant state of pain. And I think it didn't help that I was under so much stress. But so that vaginal recovery was pretty tough. I would say that my bleeding was pretty consistent and heavy for about 3 weeks. And around that 4th week mark, I started to have like kind of normal 3rd, 4th day period blood. And eventually I wasn't wearing pads anymore, probably around 5 to 6 weeks. I ended up having my OBGYN postpartum visit at 8 weeks. I just gave myself my body time to recover. My doctor told me that I was probably healed at 6 based off of like what she saw. But I was not about to go work out or be intimate at 6 weeks. I was like, no. I need more time. So physical recovery, it was definitely painful, and I recommend just not being on your feet like I was. I would say the most shocking physical pain I experienced being postpartum was going number 2. That was the most horrific experience, man. Absolutely horrific. Like, I know that they say to be prepared for being uncomfortable the first time you go number 2, right? After pregnancy. but month to 2 months after I delivered that baby, it was still painful. We're 2 weeks away from my daughter being 3 months old, and I finally have a more normal number 2 routine that does not cause me pain. I feel like I want to say, sorry, that's TMI, but there is no such thing as TMI when we're talking about being postpartum. So today, where I'm at in my recovery, I am walking, I am hiking. My husband and daughter and I just went on almost a 6-mile hike a couple weeks ago. So physically, I feel totally up for anything. I've healed in the vaginal department, and physically, you know, I have the stretched skin, the stretch marks I'm left with, but overall my body feels strong and ready for motherhood every day. But I also really wanted to discuss the emotional recovery of being postpartum. You hear a lot about the physical recovery of delivering a child, but I feel like the emotional recovery sometimes gets pushed to the side. I remember seeing an article of this little meme. It was this meme, Jenny, and she's watching all of her extended family holding the baby she just delivered, and it was like, Jenny's sad because she just delivered a baby but lost like a ton of blood and hemorrhaged and had a very traumatic birth experience. And the extended family's like, but she delivered such a beautiful baby. And it's like, that's true. Jenny delivered a beautiful baby, but maybe Jenny needs some time and attention for her recovery too. And I know I'm like talking about this meme and it might sound silly, but in so many ways I feel like being a mother, you know, you kind of are pushed to the side when it comes to taking care of yourself after delivery. You know, you have all your family who want to see your baby, and sometimes it's like someone just needs to tap you on the shoulder and ask, how are you? And I was blessed and grateful to have a huge community of family that just surrounded myself and my husband in that recovery of our emotional states. Because having a baby in the NICU is extremely rough. If it's not your child you're witnessing having to go through pain and tests and recovery, you're witnessing all the other children in that wing and their parents suffering from their child being in the NICU. So there was so much healing that had to be done for myself and my husband. I remember when we were discharged from the postpartum wing, just absolutely devastated because we weren't going to be in the hospital anymore with our daughter. We came home to this nursery I'm standing in, and I just wept because I was empty-handed. I thought we would enter this nursery and I'd have a baby in my hands, but I didn't, and it was horrible. There's so much emotional healing, I feel like, for any parent who goes through something like we did, but also just any mother who delivers a baby. I feel like labor is an intense emotional and physical toll on anyone. The mind, body, and spirit, you're doing it all. And you know, it takes a toll, so I really wanted to discuss that emotional healing. I am today, in a lot of ways, blessed by the healing of the Lord Jesus. I have been through it, man. Me and my husband have, and he has brought us through it stronger and more connected than ever. And our baby is so strong, and she's healthy, and she's hitting her milestones, and she's near perfect. So I hope you enjoyed my birth and postpartum experience. I know that mine is more specific to a NICU parent, but I hope that my postpartum journey and experience maybe you could relate to in some ways, or at least have some ideas to prepare for. You know, get stool softeners. Anyway, I appreciate you all taking the time to watch this video. Like and subscribe if you could, please and thank you. And I'll see you in the next one.